Hey everyone, this is Professor Matthews with a very brief video to welcome you to week 2. So what we'll do this week is focus on some of the historical context as it relates to the development of the social welfare system and to our profession of social work overall. You have a few key assignments that relate to both this historical learning that we'll do this week and then overall again to your social change project. You do still of course have readings that you'll need to keep up with this week, both from the Lane text and some articles that you'll review. All of that detailed information is there for you in Canvas, and if you have any questions about it, just please reach out. What you'll do for your in-depth discussion post this week is you will record a video response to current events. So we're not only learning about the historical events this week, but we're also being asked to connect the current events to historical context. So how you'll do this in this discussion post, which is titled Echoes of Social Welfare Policy, History in Today's News, is you're going to pick two articles. And what you'll need to do in your video is you're going to need to briefly summarize the story so that anyone who hasn't read it has a very, again, sort of general sense of what's covered. And you're going to describe a historical attitude or an event that you see as connected to what you're reading about in the story. So for this particular assignment, it does not need to be connected to your social change project or the population that you've chosen. It just needs to be two recent articles that you again then connect to historical events that you've learned about, or an attitude or theory that you've learned about in last week's module. The last thing that you'll do in the video is just any questions that you have for the author of the article. So again, make sure that you select two articles, make a video response. Don't stress over the technology of the video. It could just be something that you record on your phone or your laptop. It doesn't need to be a Zoom event if that's not possible. The other things that you'll do this week is you will select your social welfare or social work pioneer that you'll write about next week. So it's an ungraded discussion post in there is to just, again, select the pioneer that you'd like to focus on. There's something called social welfare bingo, which again, you're going to look at this just like you would a regular bingo sheet and try to find across, up and down, or diagonal. Pick, whatever number, I think it's 5, in that order, and then just give me a very brief description of the event that you select. Okay, so if you select, for example, settlement houses, just describe for anyone like what that means. And again, do it either in the same way that you would for bingo, across, up and down, or diagonal. So pretty straightforward there, and just to assess that you've done the readings on the historical events. Other things that you'll do this week, the last thing to really mention is you'll have part 2 of your social change project. So last week you selected the population that you're going to focus on for the rest of the semester. What you'll do this week is you're going to select 2 historical eras that relate to the population that you chose, okay? When you're describing those events, it's really important to think of how, again, they relate to your population. So were there particular milestones, laws that were passed, events that happened that, again, really pertain to the population that you selected? If you have any questions about how to select a historical event, or if you're not sure, or you want to revisit that population, that's totally fine. What you'll need to do though is once you've selected those 2 events in your paper, just go ahead and describe the major events of that time, again, connecting them to the population that you've chosen, and describe the role that social workers played in that era and if any of those events. And if you're not sure, that's okay. Just describe what you think they may have done at that time, or what you would suggest that they should have done at that time. There is an example that's provided in the assignment itself, so you can see again sort of how it's written out and get a sense of how you're connecting it back to those historical events. For that last assignment, just take a moment to make sure you are in fact using the APA formatting that is a part of the grade for that and for any of the writings that we're doing in the social change project. I am here day in and day out. I will respond to messages within 24 hours. I'm always happy to do a virtual meeting of any sort if that would be helpful for you to go over any assignments. And again, email is also always available. Hope that you're doing well. Thanks so much for all of your hard work last week, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Take care.